Gyere kicsikém, kijövünk, jó? Gyere szívem, semmi baj. Gyere. Jaj, de kis buta vagy. Gyere kicsim. I have to go inside. Otherwise I will... Gyere kicsim. Ó, de kis butusz vagy. Nincs baj, semmi baj nincsen. Gyere. Ops. Megyünk vissza. Gyere.
So we have 37 more dogs reserved. Right now we're on a big roll, which is awesome. The FAPF stands for the Foundation of Animal Protection in Füzesabon, Hungary. Füzesabon is a small town about an hour and a half east of Budapest. The area is not very wealthy, so there's a lot of social problems, which goes down to the level of the animals especially. So we find a lot of animals that are severely neglected, abused, or abandoned. And Jeanette will bring them into the rescue and place them in a safe house somewhere. And then they move to fostering when we get a foster home available. And then after they've been in fostering, they get adopted. And they go locally or abroad, wherever we can manage. But it stands for animal protection. So we are not a typical shelter. We do not have a shelter. We're an actual foundation that works towards improving the conditions of the animals in Hungary and the relationship with the humans. Jeanette Molnar is a really unique person because she's had a lot of her own life experiences, but she lives in this small town, and she has managed to create this amazingly large and complex foundation with the support of only volunteers. Nobody receives a salary of any kind, including Jeanette or her sister Isabel. I consider her to be like a warrior in many ways. She doesn't give up. So if she goes to a house that has an animal that's being abused, she will stay there for hours and convince them to give her the animal. If she can't get all the animals in the first go, she goes back and she goes back again and she goes back again until she can get the animals out of the bad situation. She's not afraid to work with the police or other organizations to try and protect the animals and work with the people to place them appropriately. So she will never put a dog in a house just to have them adopted. She always wants the dog to be matched to a home that suits their personality and where they can be safe and loved.
We started with nothing. I mean, we just started because we didn't have a foundation, we didn't have a kennel, we had nothing. We just wanted to help. You know, when you just cannot walk or pass by a dog on the street, just try to rescue one, and then two, and then three, and then we started to, think about the place where we can put them, and also making it official. Obviously, because if you take care of at least a few dogs, it requires money, place, everything. So we wanted to make it official. During the 10-12 years, we could see some result, and I think what we have now is nothing to compare to what we had at the beginning.
Igen. Nem kell félni. Kiputáska. Jaj van. Jaj van. Menjünk ki, jó?
He was found in a garden of a family. A family called us and asked for our help because they said that somebody threw the dog into their garden, and the dog he is called Turpy. There are a lot of them because 12 years is a long time like this, rescuing dogs every single day. So we have so many stories, different ones. we are here to rescue animals, but we cannot rescue 10 animals a day because we are without support and we have to do our work without help, basically.
My role with the organization started as kind of a catch-all volunteer, and I kept seeing room for improvement with fostering or with how the communication went, and I believe that if you have a problem with something that you should work harder to solve it. So I started to volunteer more, get more involved, and I ended up taking over the Budapest issues. I think in Budapest we have between 60 and 100 dogs at any given time. Quite a lot of volunteers that need support. That's kind of my role, is mostly Budapest operations, foster support, foster matching, donations, social media.
This dog's named Leandro. He's already adopted, he's leaving to Germany. It's just unbelievable how much my effort can change a life. Well, you know, you always feel really happy when they get adopted, but it's like a happy sad, but at the same time, I believe you shouldn't look at it that way. You shouldn't get attached to them because it makes it hard, but at the same time, I'm always happy to see them go. I mean, that's why I fostered in the first place anyway.
I got Bob Leonicio today in fostering, and he has an adoption interest, so he will probably be leaving for Germany in 2 weeks. And when I started here, I met a lot of students who had been fostering, and they seemed to enjoy it so much, and it was really a wonderful job. And that's why I decided to want to foster, because I wanted to help these dogs get a new start, because a lot of them, they would probably not be alive if it hadn't been for this organization.
I'm a FAPF photographer, so I'm basically making events on weekends usually to take pictures of FAPF dogs. And for cats, we usually contact them and we go to their place to make pictures.
I've always loved dogs, that's for sure. I have 3 back home, which I love like crazy. And I don't want to adopt one since I already have 3 back home, but I still wanted dog company, sort of, since I'm living alone in an apartment. And I wanted like a small dog to foster to keep me company, and he's the perfect dog, so.
This down here is Marjika, and she was rescued by FAPF like a year ago. Came to me as a foster dog and I adopted her like after 2 weeks. It was probably the best decision I've ever made. Now she's my therapy dog for anxious dogs in the city and for aggressive dogs, and she's just super lovely. And the other dog is Colibri. As far as I know, he was just found on the street roaming around alone.
I always say that our work wouldn't have been, alive at all if we never had foster homes, because I can rescue a dog, But if I don't have a foster home to place him or her, then I cannot rescue the other, and I cannot take them from the street, because I cannot take hundreds of dogs at home. I can take 10, 13, maximum 14, and that's more than enough. And there are always new cases and very severe cases every day.
The organization started in 2007, and they rehomed about 2,800 animals.
We're trying to create these environments where the animals can go from the dark past to their bright futures without going backwards. So we want them always to move forwards as best we can.
This is Kayla. She's about 5 years old. She likes attention. And she's always been, since the first day I got her, a really good dog. Trusted the person so easily. It's very sad, but at the same time it's good to do this. This is the first time I'm doing this. And you give the dog a home, and it's very beautiful.
Kayla. Ja. Leandro.
It's not easy, but it's lovely. They give me a lot of love, and this love they are giving is unconditional.
Now that I've gotten to know him, he's pretty cute. Like a big bear, aren't you, Mom? Are you a big bear? Yeah, sweetheart.